All right, here we go. Hey, you tourists. It's your boy Dominator back in the basic. Chugging the deuces, how we do text, baby. That is back. You know this is this. Real men rust up, big men rust up. We will rust up, rust up. Right there, preach on. I really want to speak about this. Everybody's talking about the TV show called Sweetie Pies. It's a soul food restaurant on OWN network, on Oprah's network. I really do. Ain't nothing wrong with my internet. It's just that YouTube on them BS. Anyway, passed away uh 2014, and he was killed. He was killed. He was murdered. Andre. Montgomery was murdered. He was killed. No one knows who did it, and he passed away. 5, 7, 8 years later, the uncle had a lot to do with the killing. And this is how sad it is. This is really sad. I want people to explain this to me. How can an uncle kill his own nephew to collect insurance on policy on this boy? About $450 million on this kid. He was 18 years old. And then contact with a stripper to do the killing. Not only been hired for the conspiracy theory about killing his nephew, but he got the stripper to contact that boy. Then you got Nelly's producer behind helping helping of the act of the murder as well. Nelly's, I don't know his name, but y'all can read the story on that. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad, man. Nobody shouldn't have to lose their life. But I hope he spend the rest of jail for the rest of his life for what he did. You know, the sweetie pies. I tried the macaroni cheese. The macaroni cheese is very good. If you ain't never tried it, because somebody made it when we went to family reunion, and they actually copied the recipe. It's hard to read this. It really. You would think Huey death was enough, but this is really beyond sad. It really is. The murder for hire, the charges against the son of Rebel Life. St. Louis, James Timothy Norman, reality TV news of his accusation murder for hire. I hate when it disconnect, man. I'm gonna keep on going. A, a plot A shocking to the viewer who watch him mourning the death. He is now of faculty, and Norman was 41. Was a star of Welcome to Sweetie Pie's reality show that runs for 5 episodes on you know, OWN, and highlight the Sweetie Pies, a St. Louis business owned by Norman's mother, Reby Montgomery. Norman was arrested Tuesday and accused in a federal court of armed chestnut rape, the shooting death of his 21-year-old. I thought he was 18. First they said he was 18. Now they say he's 21. Boy, I hate when they do that. 21 years old nephew, Andre Norman Jr. Andre Norman Jr. Andre Norman Jr. My bad. The nephew who appeared on the show was Reeby's Montgomery grandson. The federal authorities said Norman hired Tiddly and Adderley, a former St. Louis County resident who was working in Memphis, Tennessee, exotic dancer, to help in the March 2016 killing near a fairground park. The prosecutor said prosecutor says Norman then attempted to collect on the life insurance benefit of his nephew's death. On Wednesday, past TV uh, clip of Norman's to reaction of the death circulated online. Norman visit the scene of killing with his mother, Reby, along with the TV cameras for a 2016 episode. Since Andre passed, I haven't gone through this part of the city, Norman said on the show. Yeah, and we see why. You behind it. Really, I've been avoided. And it got you then. The 21-year-old was killed in the 39,000 block of Natural Bridge Avenue, not too far from where Norman's father was killed. And that's the sad part about this. Shortly before Norman's birth, Reby Montgomery's nephew was also shot and killed nearby. Mm-mm-mm. Norman, in a later episode, sitting a few seats from his mother as she was interviewed about the grandson's killing. To pick up a gun is easy, she said, but to take somebody's life that you can't get back, that is the devastation. A timeline. Producer said that Norman took out 450 million in life insurance policy on his nephew, Andre Montgomery Jr., in 2014, making himself the sort of beneficiary. He also making false claim about his nephew's income. Sad. Families history in policy documents. According to changing the documents, Norman was 18. See, first they said he was 21, now they say 18. So they lied about his age. Or better yet, he did part of this. Anyway, Norman was 18 when Montgomery was 18 when Norman took out the policy. And Montgomery has been featured on the show 1 year early, graduate from Critical North High School. The show document teens moving from Texas to live with his grandmother near St. Louis. You know, Andre Montgomery. Uh, Andre Montgomery, his father was killed. His father was murdered. They lost some death pass in their family. It's sad right here. I want Andre to become a successful man. Reby Montgomery said in the graduate episode. And now I think he knows whatever he wants to do. If he put for the effort, he can do it. But by the March to early in the morning, I hate when it's disconnected. It does that, man. It pisses me off, man. I wish it would stop doing that. I'm trying to wait to okay. Arrived in St. Louis by a plane and booked a room at the Chasen Park Plaza Hotel. According to court documents, by 1 p.m. that day, two burner phones, prosecutor says, are using by Elliot and Norman are active in St. Louis. The court documents claim that at 7 p.m. that night, Montgomery texts Elliot in the address of the recording studio where Montgomery, as a aspired rapper, according to the show, was working about 8 hours later when he was shot at the same location. He was about to be a studio, become a rapper, and it's sad, man. It's sad. His own nephew, is uncle killed his own nephew for spite of that, for to making and a fortune out of that boy. It's sad. After receiving Memorial, after receiving a Montgomery's text, prosecutor says that Italy escalated the call Norman. The witness told the police that Montgomery takes a call just before 8 p.m. that night and went outside to meet someone. A review of his phone recording shows the police that Montgomery spoke to people in the 10 minutes before he was shot. Italy and another friend. Yeah. Prosecutor says Italy was saved in Montgomery's phone under her stage name and Instagram handle, Alicel the Great. Italy's phone data also putting her at the scene of the crime, according to change of the documents. Despite being at the scene of Montgomery's murder at 8:02 p.m., the documents stated Italy's call was not to the police, but Norman at 8:03 p.m. Prosecution said the location shows the restitution say the location data shows Elliot was driving away from the scene and head back to Memphis. Yeah, she was a stripper from Memphis. Was hired from the uncle to kill his own nephew. It's just sad, and probably Nelly's producer. And here's the crazy: the burner phones went off the next day and never used again. The documents said The document said after the next few days, Elliott deported more than 900 in cash into several bank accounts. Prosecution says weeks after the death, Norman was contacted a life insurance company and attempted to collect on his nephew's policy, but never received the money because of a lack of documents, according to court's documents. Norman was up for it by his criminal path on Welcome to Sweetie Pies, an offer to describe the difficulties in rebuild a new life after spending 10 years in prison, beginning as a teenager. Norman was 17 and a senior at Zanley Wood Center High School in 1997. And when he and another teenager are charged with a series of felonies, accusing of robbing at gunpoint with two McDonald's ate. Shortly after he was released from prison, I need to stop doing that. From his investigation, please, people, I'm sorry, man, but it's just this YouTube, man, they doing this for his involvement in a local. He told the Postal Dispatch at the time when I was 17 years old. A Reed owner, former backup singer, backup singer for Ike and Tina Turner, and along with other famous entertainers. Norman's history in prison was featured several times on the show, including one episode where the mother and the son taking a trip to Missouri prison where Norman's serving time. My son went to prison at the age of 17 and to a mother that, like a child, have died. Reby Montgomery said in the show. But Norman's legal troubles continued after he gained victoriously through reality TV. His mother suing him in June 2016 and claimed he expect the business into a natural chain. But even he have mm, mm, mm. I hate when it does that. But even have to close several locations. In April 2017, Norman was charged with misdemeanor assault at Houston restaurant location has been closed, accusing Norman of punching him in the face, where the chef asked about paychecks for other employees. According to changing documents, that case is ongoing. Norman was living in Mississippi, Mississippi, where he co-owner owns Sweetie Pie's location at the time of his arrest. He's facing a charge of conspiracy in instated and economic faculties in the commission of murder for hire. So Italy and Norman met, but the St. Louis County. Elliott was living in Fresno in 2010, according to a court or records connected to a landlord. Despite a court's document said she later moved to Memphis, but would emotionally return to. Mm-mm-mm. I'm sorry, people, but it's just this disconnect, man. I'm trying to get it finished. Trying to wait to disconnect it now. All right. Would conceivably could turn to St. Louis to I mean could, where excuse me where Ocean League continued Ocean League returned to visit the St. Louis area. The the court documents also show Elderly have two misdemeanor con- convicted from 2006 and 2007. One is a indirectly exposed and changing connection to her employees at the time of the Purely Passion strip club in Memphis, according to change the documents. Other in a drug possessive offense. Adderley was arrested in June. Okay, I'm coming. Facing. Hold on, I'll be back. I'm sorry, man. I was being called. Okay, would ultimately return to visit the St. Louis area. Court documents also show that Elliott had. Okay, I already read that part. The other is a drug possessive offense. Elliott was arrested in June and faced the same conspiracy to murder for hire charge as Norman. You know what? That's all I can say to reading this. This is really sad, man. And I apologize on that because all the disconnect and stuff like that. And now they saying that Nelly's producer. I'm trying to figure out, okay, Nelly, trying to know what this guy's name was. Okay, it says here, producer of Nellyville is the third person inducted in the Shame to Kill. It's crazy. Now you got the stripper from really from St. Louis, but moving to Memphis, and then you got Norman, the basically the son of Reby Montgomery. But now you got the son that killing his nephew, her son killing her nephew, her grandson. I mean, you think about that, man. It's really sad, man. It really is. A producer of Nelly in Nellyville is the third person inducted in a scandal to kill the grandson of Sweetie Pie's owner. I don't want to read any more because you can find this out because I just find this out. Man. It's crazy. I might read a few more. Okay. St. Louis. And St. Louis recording producer turning a life insurance agent was inducted Thursday and connected with a accusated murder for hire plot to kill the grandson of Sweetie Pie's owner Reby Montgomery, a producer of Nelly's hit 2012 album Nellyville, Waverly Animal Han, something like that. I can't pronounce his name. Is the third person charged in the case after Montgomery's son and a Memphis, Tennessee woman are in charge Wednesday with the federally these skins. Formerly, Annalyn Millingham, 42, facing one charge of conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud. As a federal prosecutor said, he was working with Timothy Norman, Montgomery's son, to fraudulently and outlet a life insurance policy of his nephew, uh, Andre Norman Jr. Millingham worked as Norman insurance agent. Prosecutors said that Hanneman and Norman made a false statement on life insurance and Peterson's for Montgomery Jr. Lied about the boy's income. Yeah, that's sad. The network and medical history and employment and family's background. Norman 41 become the solo specialist on a 450,000 in life insurance policy for Montgomery Jr., his nephew in 2004. The nephew was falsely shot in St. Louis 2 years ago, and the prosecutors said Norman ties unsuccessfully to collect on the policy 1 week after his death. Norman and Montgomery Jr. both appeared alongside of the family Reby Montgomery in the reality TV show Welcome to Sweetie Pie, which runs for 5 seasons on Owen OWN. The show features Sweetie Pie's, a St. Louis-based soul food restaurant business owner owned by Reby Montgomery. 5 days after Montgomery Jr. death, prosecutors says Norman contacted Nottingham, his insurance agents, to collect the benefits, and prosecutors said the policy was for 200,000 as well as 200,000 accident death ride that would pay out if Montgomery died of something other than natural causes, and another 50,000 ride that would pay out if Montgomery's death in the next 10 years. Sad. Norman and Tilly Italy with 36 of Memphis are inducted by a federal grand jury Thursday after each was in charge 1 day early with the conspiracy to commit murder for hire or murder for hire to results in death. Norman was also inducted Thursday on a addiction with charges of conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud. According to the according to court documents, Norman and Ellie are both in St. Louis the day Montgomery Jr. was killed using temporary phones that are acted the same day as the killing. Prosecution said that Ellie texted Montgomery Jr. to receive his location, then called Norman from the same phone that called the nephew, that called the uncle. The elderly's her cell phone data shows that she was under the scene where Montgomery Jr. was murdered that day. Following the killing, an elderly called Norman and traveled back to Memphis. Then she transported more than 9,000 into several b- bank accounts in the following days. Norman was a business partner in Sweetie Pies and opened several restaurants outside the St. Louis market before being sued by his mother in 2016 for copy infringement. If convicted, the maximum penalty for conspiracy to commit murder for hire is life imprisonment or death, and a 250 fine, $200,000 fine. The maximum penalty for the conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud is 20 years imprisonment and a fine of 250,000. Kevin Johnson of the Postman and Dispatch contributed to this report. Here's what I think, man. This is sad, man. How can a nephew, an uncle, I mean, killing his own nephew to collect and deduct an insurance on that boy? And I hope he spends the rest of his life. And also that Nelly, man, you need to clear your name, man, because this is going to hurt you more than anything. If your producer is behind that, and it's going to really hurt your name, man. It's going to really hurt your name if you don't clear that up. And also, this some woman from Memphis, she need to be in prison the rest of her life, man. And for that, all three of them, especially Tim Norman, man. I hope you think about what the cause of the fact that you done to somebody. Why would you gain to kill your nephew? What's the gain by that? Killing your own nephew, your own flesh, your own blood. That just let me know family ain't shit. People, I said this before and I'm gonna say it again. Watch your family sometimes, because the closest ones is the ones that's close to hurt you. If it ain't worse than having friends hurt you or loved one, but nothing hurts more than your own family. That's all I can say again. And I'm gonna dedicate this video to rest in peace to Andre Montgomery Jr. You would be loved and missed. And please, people, pray the whole Sweetie Pie uh, family for they can get through these times. And for everybody that try to say she knows about this, she had a hand. I don't think she does it. Otherwise, she wouldn't translate him to all the way to Texas to Missouri to try to get him out of, keep him on the right track instead of going the wrong track. His father was murdered. And you would think Tim Norman lost some of his family members of violence. And then you would think he'll learn from the life choices. But it's still, he ain't learning. I hope he be in prison for good for the rest of his life. And it's sad. It really sad. It saddens me that you got black men are killing each other over some bullshit, over a territory that don't belong to them, over money, over women. But then you got the sisters are getting behind this bullshit. So people be safe and keep hope and prayers and a lot more, and hope everything's gonna be all right. So pray for Mrs. Reby Montgomery because she needs it. And it's sad not only that she lost a grandson, she gonna lose her son behind a foolishness what he did to his own nephews. It's sad. It's sad. And she also lost her other son for violence. And now she lost her son behind his foolishness to kill his own nephew because her son killing her grandson. When it's gonna stop? When it's gonna stop? And that's all I can say. I don't like doing this video,
but I did it, and then hopefully more. If I read it wrong, give me a like and subscribe, and and comment whatever you need. So that's all I can say about that. It's your boy Domination. This is Back in the Basic. Chugging to this Text Baby. And until next time, all right? All right. Peace.